What's up, Cinnamon Toast Pop? What's going on? Just waiting for my YouTube. There it is. Good stuff. Perfect. All right. So what's going on, everybody? Let's talk about the markets, I guess. Friday night. Not much going on. No, it was a big day today, so definitely have to address it. I mean, we had some pretty hot unemployment data, man. I'm just gonna go pull it up on the side screen real quick. We'll just briefly talk about it. What came in. So, look, I mean, the only thing that did well was the average earnings. That went up. Apparently, people are earning. They're forecasted at 0.3%. The previous was 0.4%. It's still at 0.4%. So it hasn't really changed. It was the only positive. But like the non-farm employment change went. So listen to this. It was at 126K previously. They forecast at 58K, right? It's negative 92K. That thing came in way down. So that's no bueno. And then the unemployment rate, man, it went up by 0.1%. It was forecasted at 4.3. It's at 4.4. When we get to 4.5, we're in a recession. So just keep that in mind. We're pretty damn close. So people are just watching right now. People are a little scared. You can see the big sell-off into the weekend. Inversely, look at fucking oil. Oil has been running up. So what's that tell you, man? People, I mean, my gas prices went up, 20% in the last week? It was at like 289, 279 like a couple weeks ago, and then I looked at it today. It was at 339. I was like, wow, and it jumped up 20% for 20 cents from yesterday. So oil's running up, man. So people are buying oil, and that's not usually not a good thing. I mean, it has to do with this Iran-U.S. conflict going on right now. So went from 280 to 340 there, Cinnamon Toast Pump. That's nuts, dude. That is insane. It's a crazy. It's like that's such a big jump in like a week. It's so crazy. What prices oil need to hit? I don't know, man. If oil keeps going up, man, it's not going to be great. We're coming up to a pretty strong resistance right now, though. This 94.95 is going to be a key level, I think, for oil. If it's going to continue, man, it's got to break this level, and then it's the all-time high, and then it's back up to its highs around 126. So we're approaching a key level. We gave out this play, by the way, in the Discord, tacticaledgetraders.com. Feel free to join, free courses, and you can join the Discord from there. But I gave this out weeks ago. I was talking about this. I was like, look at this. When this thing pops, it's getting ready to go. And it was a good call. I mean, it was pretty obvious with all the things that were going on. I was like, hey, just, why not? Take a crack at it. And it played out. So, but yeah, I mean, what else is going on in the market, right? So oil's up. What the S&P did do. Talked about this level, guys. I talked about this range a while back on SPY. And I said, we don't want to start losing the range, because we start losing the range, we're getting acceptance. For me, we're there, man. We're at that point where it's looking weak. We've been consistently cracking down. I'm looking next week to see what the market does, but maybe we push up over the weekend. But if we fail to get back into this range around 6,800, I'm looking for a continuation down. I'm looking for 65. So I might be looking for shorts next week on S&P, depending on where we pull back into the weekend and how next week opens. Maybe some news comes out and the market surge a little bit, but we'll see. We got CPI coming out next week too. Congrats, King of Gold. You have now been muted. And you are no longer here. Be careful, guys. Don't. If anybody tells you they're free signals group, stuff like that, be careful. They're usually scams. I've been around the game a little bit and know how people fucking operate. It's usually scammers. They're trying to get you to join, then they're gonna like hit you up on Discord or something and start to ask you for money or something. But yeah. I mean, look, S&P's breaking down. Let's go look at Qs. Qs are still holding on, which is weird, right? Qs are still holding the range. Let me get rid of some of these little patterns here, but let's just look at it from a broader perspective. We're not going to get too into the micro, the 4-hour time frames here. I want to keep it real simple. Let's just daily. We're still in the range on the Qs, right? So this is showing a little bit more strength. So we'll have to watch and see what happens. But SPY started to break down. Maybe it's a trap to grab some liquidity. Maybe not. Let's talk about gold real quick. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Then we can start taking some requests in the chat. Let me go check out you. My YouTube people here tonight? No, probably not. It's dead on YouTube. It's Friday night. Can't blame anybody for not wanting to be on the charts. Especially, we're supposed to get some nice weather this weekend, so that'll be fun. Get out of the house a little bit. Maybe we'll touch some grass. Sorry, I gotta pull up my my technicals list real quick. There it is. Okay, guys. So gold's just sitting here above that previous high we put in back here. Just below the previous high around, what was it, 5,600. We had a level around 5,100, 5,120 to be exact. And we had to break that level for continuation. And right now, what are we doing? We're back testing. We're back testing that level. If we can hold that level, man, gold's going to continue up. There's no reason to fade gold. If it starts to lose this level, I expect gold's going to start coming down and attacking some of these lower levels. And this may just be a lower high, you know, but I don't know. Just want to see what the weekly opens up this week. And that'll probably be the determining factor. If we start opening up down here and we're unable to reclaim, I think we're probably going to come down, maybe fill this wick down here at 4,400. And inversely, look, if we hold above 5,120, I think we're coming back for the all-time highs. It doesn't look like a, you know, it just looks like they want to grab some more maybe. So I can see a play for both sides, but momentum's up. So I'm not going to go fading gold right now. Yeah, people have been getting wrecked in the market for the past week. I bet, man. We haven't been getting wrecked, though, dude. We've been fucking killing it in the Discord, guys. My name's Eddie, by the way, if anybody doesn't know who I am. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. Website, tacticaledgetraders.com. And if you're not subbed and following, or, you know, do go ahead and do that. You'll get notifications when we go live 6 days a week. And hit that like. It helps out the algos, pushes our content out there. We appreciate it. All we're here is to just look at the markets and give TA. No nonsense bullshit. You know, none of that. We're not shilling shit. We're not trying to sell you courses. And we're not about fucking hopium and trying to sell you a fucking coin. Or we're just looking at charts. Non-bias. That's all. Right now, gold looks good. Gold looks like it could push. And I'm going to talk about Bitcoin real quick. Then I'll go look at balance here. I see Amazon in the chats too. Is the financial. We'll see, man. So look, Bitcoin was in this little flag. It broke. It is now back testing. I'm long Bitcoin. I got long this morning. Not this morning, like afternoon, really, right around here. Down on this low. Somewhere in here I grabbed a little bit of a long. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to make a little bit of a retrace this weekend. Back up. It gave a lot away. But ultimately it's still holding the breakout. So I'm still expecting Bitcoin, if it can hold and doesn't start to really lose the 65K level, I think Bitcoin probably heads up to like 79, 80K still. I still think there's a good chance of that. But it's got to hold this level. So that's my crypto talk out the way. Let's go look at Amazon. I think that was one of the first ones someone asked for. So just be mindful. If I'm on the daily, it's not going to show futures data. So look, man, I fucking said this like weeks ago. I've been talking about this forever. I'm going to get rid of some of my LARP lines here. But look, I marked out these CME gaps, and I said, hey, we're coming back for them. I said, we lost this trend, so look, we're postured bearishly, but it was a big pullback, you know, big drop, essentially. And what did we end up doing? Well, look, I marked off exactly where it would probably go. I was like, inverse head and shoulders. We're starting to form a reversal pattern. The first area to attack is at 220 if we can break into that 212 zone. And we did that. So now what we have to see is, does this hold? Do we hold the neckline? Do we hold this 210, 212 level? If so, then we're probably going to continue up, maybe back up to this 230 level. There's another gap up there. Like I said, fast down, fast up. So as long as we don't give back too much, like I would say on Amazon, you don't want to really start giving back below I think 210, it starts to get a little shaky. I mean, there's a little bit of a trend here on the 4 hour, right? So maybe use that as like your last hope if we start to break down like below this high here, right? This is what I'm talking about right here. I'd like to see that hold. That would show me some conviction. Just kind of like an SR flip, you know? But if it does break down a little bit further, this trend's your last hope. You don't want to lose this low here. You lose that right shoulder, you're coming to take the lows out likely. So something like that or something like this, That's what you're looking for to remain bullish on this thing in the short term for higher. Maybe a retest back up here at the 220 or potentially up to this 227, 230 level. But I'd be looking for, when I get up there, I'd be looking for, to offload. I don't know what you plan on. I don't know what your position is, if you're short, long, but just think about it like this. This is just a bearish retest. End of the day, when you get up here or wherever it may be, even if it tests back up to 244, I mean, if it doesn't, as long as it doesn't break that level at like 247, it's just a lower high. Short it or de-risk, take profits. Don't try to hold to the moon is what I'm saying. Yeah, no problem, Extendo. Thing is, the previous weekly was gap up, but it felt like kind of testing. Can happen. Gap up next week, dude. You got to learn how to type, my dude. I'm reading everything you're saying. I fucking feel like I'm speaking gibberish. Gap up, open next week, and still get down to back test. I'm not sure. Are you translating that? If you're translating it, it's a bad translation. I can't really understand what you're saying, brother. What's up, Kush? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really just trying to answer your question. Time mill and the number. Gap up. Anyways. Let's see what you guys are talking about over here. Oh, damn, 150. Wow. Anyway, guys, if you're not following or subscribed, go ahead and do that. We do live content 6 days a week, even Friday nights, and we talk about the markets. And I'm just a trader from Tactical Edge Trading. We got a website, tacticaledgetraders.com. If you want to go check that out, we got free courses. We're going to educate you on how to trade these markets, and you can join the Discord for free from there. And you can ask us questions. You could be part of a trading community if you want to trade live. There's different things inside of our group that you can, we have different tiers for like live trading. That's a little step up, but you got to be more serious and know what you're doing by then. So for your newer people, stick to the free stuff, go to take the courses and, check out the lives. But anyways, yeah, I mean, look, Amazon back test here, maybe a little short, could be a little long and then bang. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, somebody asked for Palantir. I think Palantir was having a little bit of a rally, wasn't it? It is. The question was for gold. No, I got the questions for gold, but it feels like it's kind of it is back testing. It is back testing. Gold is. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next week though. You know what I mean? You just got to wait and see what the markets give you. We're not here to predict. We're just here to mark out levels and then just like identify trends. The only time I'll say if a price is likely to go up or more likely to go down is if it's trending that direction. And look, we talked about this move here. We said if we can reclaim this neckline that we lost and break this trend, I said it would be great little bounce. So maybe we're going to come attack these higher like levels around 171, and we have a level around 185 on Palantir. Actually, look, I'm going to go undo this. I had it drawn out right there. If you go to the 4 hour look. So I mean that's what you're looking for. This is looking good. On like 4 hour breaker structure. We got the daily market structure shift here. We got the back test. Maybe it'll come back down here and retest. As long as you're above 147 Palantir, I say you got a chance of taking out some of the highs, maybe around 171, 183, potentially up to 196. Like it could mitigate this entire trend right here if it wanted to, just to retest the highs. But realistically, I'm going to go to the weekly and just kind of paint the picture here. Just like we talked about a minute ago, I'm going to get rid of all my indicators. Structure is broken on the daily to the upside, but the weekly is still postured to the downside. So higher time frames, this is just a back test until it takes out this high around 199, 200. This high has to be taken out for like it to have a breaker structure back on the weekly. So anything below this is just a lower high at the end of the day. So just be mindful when you start to pump up. Don't get too euphoric on this thing. And if it does break them, then we change the thesis. But for now, I think you just gotta be more cautious, more risk off. Like take your profits and then, just be mindful for like that one day we're just gonna start dumping again. It might hit 180. You're 100% right, dude. It might hit it. Sorry, I gotta change this song that I'm listening to. This is fucking horrible. I'm on Spotify right now, and they just keep throwing trash my way. Ever happen to you guys? Happens to me a lot, apparently. It's either my music choice or Spotify. Like, algos, just me and them just don't vibe too well. Gotta read this question. Gold has a weekly gap up previously, but ended up back testing. I can be repeating this week too, right? I don't know, dude. I can't predict what gold's gonna do, brother. I use YouTube Music. I would use YouTube right now, but I'm using YouTube to stream, so it's I'm like, what do I do? You know what I mean? I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Somebody wants to look at Netflix. I think we could look at some Netflix, guys. Is the market bouncing back next week? Yeah, I hope it does. What's up, Kay? I did look at Palantir. I'm going to look at Netflix, then I'll look at CrowdStrike, and then I can look at AVGO. I can't even spell Netflix right. There it is. You could tell I'm on Friday mode right now. So look, Netflix is still going up, man. This thing just keeps going. Look, a lot of people are fucked that got bearish here that started shorting. It just keeps running. But what I would watch for here, right? We're starting to break into another level, right? So this 98. If we flip this into support, then I think we are going to come back up to this 109, possibly up to 115, right? Those are the two next bigger. Like this 115 is really the big level, but like there's going to be a speed bump at 109 if we do break up there. But right now, we need to see what happens here. We left a lot behind to be, for them to come back for it. And what I don't like right now in the short time frame, and I'm just explaining this to you, I don't like when I see price action doing this. It starts to kind of like it's dying down. This is selling pressure or absorption. One or the other. Probably like selling pressure dying down or selling pressure. Yeah, it is selling pressure, but like the buyers are losing steam is what I'm saying. It's not like straight up anymore. We're starting to kind of fade out. So I'm looking for a retest of this 95, 96, this level right here that I got marked out. If it goes any lower than that, they're probably going to come back for this gap. I mean, it just seems like the next area, there's not much support below us. Like there's no, you see what I mean? Like these are all 4-hour levels. I go to my daily, it's a straight line. There's no support. So if it starts to lose this, I think it's coming down pretty hard. So watch that. And if it holds that, look, scenarios, boom, up here, maybe up here, so those are your two levels. But if it loses this, then you're looking for this. Look for it to attack this gap. We've been talking about this gap for a while. Plus a nice little back test after that pop would make sense. They left a lot behind. So those are your levels on Netflix. So I'm going to get rid of some of these scribbles. What's up, Dr. Thunder? Yeah, I can look at NVIDIA. I'm just going to look at CrowdStrike real quick. Somebody asked for that first. And we'll get into NVIDIA. It's pretty hot token stock. They started dumping after the earnings. Was it like last week or the week before? They had their earnings and it wasn't great. And then the market's been kind of bloody since. So CrowdStrike's in an interesting spot right now, right? So what do I see on it? I'm going to just kind of get a little trend here and just pop this bad boy up, right? We're kind of just trending up, right? From back here. So generally the trend is up on the higher time frames, but we did break right here. See this low? We did break weekly market structure. So like this is a break of structure on the weekly. You got to be mindful that we could be looking for a lower high now on the weekly. And the high to break would be up here, 560 to break that, to continue up. So that's your big high. I mean, I know it's far away, but it is what it is for the weekly, right? Focus on higher time frame levels. You'll probably do better. There's more like reactions. A little bit of a trend, right? And we're kind of coming up against it. So we're in an area of resistance, and we got this daily resistance right here around 430. So look, it's got to either do one of two things. It's either going to reject here, or it's going to break through and continue higher, right? So this, maybe we look for a rejection, and then you look for a higher low to potentially pump you through. But ideally, like, you can't get long right now because you're at resistance. So maybe it breaks out and then it retests and then it attacks that high. That's how I would see that one playing out if it was going to be bullish. Otherwise, you're looking for a rejection here. And then maybe it puts a higher low in because, like, here's some scenarios for you, right? Look, again, we don't predict, but, like, this is a low. They took that low. If they put a higher low, something like that, That's a normal reversal pattern. It would form like a little bit of a shoulder, head, shoulder right there. Oh my God, dude. My mouse is all over the place today. So something like that. You get what I'm saying? So you'd be looking for that if it did reject here. That would be your bullish scenario. Bearish scenario just friggin' rejects and just starts losing this larger trend, and then we're talking about a bigger drop, right? Probably down to at least 300 first is your first level, and your second level is down here around 200. So those are your big weekly levels to the downside, and your big level to the upside is that 570 something, 570-ish. So keep an eye on that for CrowdStrike. Are you seeing my messages? Hoping you kind of look at. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people's messages, Dr. Thunder. I'm not like purposely ignoring you. I'm just kind of going down the list, my dude. I'll get to it, I promise. I'm buying that gap. Yeah, gonna buy the gap. What do you think about 2x leverage ETFs for mega stocks? I mean, look, dude, if you're a good trader, it doesn't matter what kind of leverage you use, but 2x is safe. I'm safe-ish. ETFs aren't too volatile. Depends. Are you trying to hold for the long term, or are you just trading with it? If you're trading with it, I don't think 2x is bad. What about Johnson & Johnson for overall feeling with the markets? I mean, I'm shaky, dude. I'm risk off right now, but I am trading the market. So I am buying the dip today on a few things, but it's very short term, and I'm willing to change my mind and bail on it very quickly. That's my mindset right now. I'm not holding to my guns on anything. Not holding to my guns on anything. All right, so Sienna Corporation. What is this? Looks like a blow off top. Could be. It's been straight up for a while, man. I mean, that's the more immediate trend, right? You got a little bit of support right here at about 260, 261. That's on your weekly. And then like your next level down is not till like 170 something, but on the daily, right? I mean, you're coming into support right now, dude. You had a nice big pump. You're putting in a swing high. So in order to remain bullish, here's what you do. You're looking for this trend to hold and this 260 level to hold. If you start to break that, right, then it's probably going to come down and start taking out some of this liquidity it's stacked up in this trend. So that could be a bearish scenario, bullish scenario, bounces, and it will continue up and to try to attack this high again. And if it breaks that high, it'll continue its uptrend. I mean, it's as simple as that. Does it go higher than that? That's the question. I want to go look back in time and see if it has any further data. I mean, it does have data back in the day. That's tough, though, because I have to like look on like, this is back at like 19. This is in 2000, dude. I'm not even looking at that. I don't even know if that's relevant data today. That's so far back. But I mean, I guess, I mean, let me see if I can pull this up on the weekly. It might not even go that far back on the weekly with the data. God, I have to do this. It's terrible. I'm trying to get us levels on this thing, but I'm almost there, guys. All right, so this is where we're at right now, right? This is previous data from back in 2021. 2001, I'm sorry, not 21. Wow. So look, 477. Close to 500, that's your swing high on like the weekly. That's your next weekly level. You are approaching a little bit of a speed bump right here, around 300. It's a psychological level. You could see how it kind of had a little hiccup there back in the day. And then our support down here says 247. So I'm just going to draw a line here and see if that actually like... All right, so this is what we're going to do here. I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to zoom back over. Now we'll go into the weekly. Perfect. Should have done that to begin with. So look, see, so like those levels I marked out, I mean, you could see that would probably be the target if we did break this 360-ish, probably around 477 if it continued up. Inversely, like that 247 kind of sits right down here in that level we're talking about, or like that 254. See how I marked it off, that level all the way back in 2001? Lines up with that level I was talking about for that bounce. So, I mean, hey, if it works, it works, right? So we'll see what happens when it gets down there. I think for now, that's what you're watching. In the more immediate term, like, look, you left some CME gaps behind. They're probably going to come back for them. You can see it on the daily right here. So they didn't take all this back, but they left a little bit. So even if they were going to put a lower high in, I think they would probably come maybe and take that out, right, before they did. Take out the imbalances first. Even if they were going to roll over bearish, they would probably come grab that. So that sits back around 315, maybe 320. So that's Sienna Corp. So, I mean, trend's up, man. I wouldn't be fading it. Do I sell now? I've been in it for 5 years. Dude, if you've been in it for 5 years, I'd probably take some profits. Because you're up big. It's never bad to take profits. Do you sell it all? That's a personal choice, man. Yeah, no problem, dude. I am in Microsoft ticker MSFU, 2x Microsoft ticker. Okay, cool. How are you feeling about the overall market? I already said that. I think I might have really of fair value up. Yeah. Can I check Doge? Maybe. I got one more to check real quick, then I'll go check Doge. So Broadcom, someone wants to see. I mean, it looks like the rest of the market, guys. I mean, it's okay. I know you asked for this one. This is a trend right here. I mean, look, we've lost that trend, and we're doing kind of what the S&P is doing right now, starting to lose that range, right? So if we start to establish underneath this level around 325, then it's not going to be bueno, you know? It will look more like a head and shoulders, and I think we come down to 380, maybe 351. Those are my two big levels. That would make sense to the downside. Look, if it can reclaim this level and hold, I mean, 362 could be the next area for it to attack if it can hold this. I guess that's more bullish, like the market would need to flip. So it's trying right now. You can see, look, see what it's doing? So like on the bullish side, this is what it's trying to do. It's trying to hold this little breakout. If it can hold this little breakout retest, yeah, I think 262 is next. And this was just a sweep of the range lows to probably come back up and grab more liquidity. And if it breaks this level, then you're going back to the all-time high at 424. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on Broadcom. It's pretty simple. It's in a range right now. It's just fucking around. I mean, really, if you look at it on the weekly, nothing's changed, right? Yeah, we had some wicks down, but it's just grabbing liquidity. But if, like I said, if it loses this, you can see how this is going to drop pretty quickly down to this level. PLA. Yeah, we did look at Palantir already, man. I was just talking about how it had a nice move. We were saying if it got back in, it broke back into that one level. It was that neckline. It was going to definitely run for a little bit, and it did. Oh my God, I got to turn this music off. This is horrible. 1 second, guys. All right. Someone really asked for Doge. Do I got to go do Doge? All right, I'm going to go look at Doge real quick. You're lucky Ben's not listening in tonight. He'd probably be yelling at me right now, texting me. Fucking crypto's dead. Ben's one of the guys who started the Discord I'm in. By the way, guys, if you're watching right now, I see 356 people on TikTok. Hit that follow button. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube, and subscribe. We go live 6 days a week. My name is Eddie. I am a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. We are a group of traders, full-time, newbies, all levels. We have free courses on our system, how we trade, on tacticaledgetraders.com. Feel free to check that out. There's also links to the Discord and some other cool features on the website. Go ahead and check that out. Join the Discord. Say what's up. We can we do live trading. We do accountability groups. We do educational content. We do we just had a deep dive the other day on Wednesday. We were just like talking about, I forget exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about everything, man. But yeah, it's just trading can be a lonely place. Don't do it by yourself. That's all I'm saying. Even if you are an experienced trader, we have guys that, myself included, I was a self-made trader and got profitable, but I did it myself. And honestly, like, joining a group helped tighten up a lot of things that, like, I was overlooking because I just didn't realize it. So it's made me better. And I could do that for you too. You're not using 100 EMA? No, I'm not. I really don't like the 100 EMA. So Doge looks like shit. I probably shouldn't curse so much. I got flagged last time. Doge doesn't look great. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, look, we're sitting at this low right now. That's the weekly. It doesn't even it's like barely showing a heartbeat here. I guess, look, if you lose this 8 cents level, this 8 cents, I'll be honest with you, like, it's probably just going to go down to 4 cents again. I think that was the next floor. The next floor sits down at like 4 or 5 cents, somewhere down here. But if it holds this, maybe it puts a little bit of a bounce in, right? How do we determine a bounce? Well, we got a little bit of a trend coming down. Can it breach this trend? That's what we're looking for right now. Sorry, my mouse is. So look, until we crack this trend, it's just going to continue to chop and look weak. So break this trend, maybe take this high out of 10 cents, then maybe you do shoot up a little bit higher. Maybe you do take back some of this liquidity above. Like you got 12 cents as a pretty popping area, and I'd say there's a lot stacked up at 15. So those are the two areas to the upside if you can break. But you got to break this trend first, man. I don't see a lot of cryptos moving right now. Well, a few of them look better than this. So look, just look at this right here. This is Doge, and if I go look at Sol, Sol's got a little bit more movement to it. You know, it's got a little bit more life in it. It looks a little bit more. It's got more rounded bottom. Whereas I go back to Doge, and Doge is kind of like doesn't really look like a rounded bottom. It looks like it's just still pointed down. So there are stronger cryptos right now that are moving with, the little pop we got on Bitcoin. But hey, I mean, Doge is usually like the last to move of the altcoins. It's a meme coin at the end of the day. It's the highest risk you can get in. So maybe it does get that pop. But that's what I would watch, those levels. You bought Syndicate at 8.0. Am I cooked? I don't know. I didn't even know what Syndicate is, bro. I can look at it. What's the ticker? If you throw the ticker in there, I'll check it out. I want to go check out Bitcoin real quick. I want to see if it's done it. Look, I'll be honest with you. Stock market's closed right now. Unless you're trading futures, not much is going to be happening there. I think the only things you could watch, and gold and commodities are closed too. It's pretty much Bitcoin. If you're a weekend trader, this is what you're looking at. Also, don't trade the weekends. It's bad. It's really bad for your health, and it's bad for your P&L. That's just because it's low volume. If you've been in the market long enough, you figure that out. That's your resistance right now on Bitcoin, though. It's got to break this like 68.4, 68.450. And if it does that, I think we're going to move back up to 69,000. And then if we break 69, we enter a nice little volume gap that'll take us back up into the 70s. You see that gap right there? I'll show it to you on the little VRVP for my people that need a little bit of assistance, because it takes a little bit of a trained eye to kind of see this stuff after a while. But see how the gaps, the volume fades out there. It's a single print at the end of the day, so it would move pretty quickly. The way it moved down, it would move pretty fast up. So key is breaking that 68.450. What else you guys want to look at? Where do we go from here? Depends on what we're talking about. I mean, I think, look, if the S&P falls next week, there's like no shot in the world that anything's going to survive that. Maybe some things will, but like, let's be honest, is crypto going to go up if the S&P's dumping? Probably not. That's not a good sign if the S&P's dumping. I mean, that's your usually when panic sets in. And it's been the last one that's holding on. Everything else has fallen so far. Everything's getting like dead cat bounces at the moment. But, SPY and the Qs have been holding up. Pension funds, people putting in their retirement every week when they get paid. ETH up or down in the next hour? I don't know, man. What do you want to take a trade on the weekend? I just said the weekends are unpredictable. I don't know what's going to do in the next hour. Probably go sideways. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you which direction is definitely going to go to the right. I don't know, man. There's a potential for a bounce, but it's got to do the same thing Bitcoin's got to do. It's got to break some levels, right? Right now, what you're doing is you're consolidating in a little bit of a symmetrical triangle, a wedge. Could be a bear pennant. We won't know. If it starts to take out this high at 1988, then maybe it breaks out, and maybe we have a shot to take back some of the liquidity. It's the upside around 2037, 2040, maybe up to 2060, right? Does that happen in the next hour? It could, because we're starting to get tight. The inverse, we could just roll over and fall from here. So you got to keep that in mind too. If we come down, we're probably coming down to take out these wicks around 1944, maybe 1920. So I'd wait to see what the move does first. Does it break up or down? And it also could just do this. This is also a possibility. Like it could just come down and then go up, or it could go up and then come down. So a lot of different things that could happen. It's really hard to predict in the next hour. I would say watch the trend and see what happens, man. Like I said, if he breaks that level, then you can maybe start to look the long on back tests. Like you're looking for something like this. Maybe not that exaggerated, but you get what I'm saying. Like a breakout of this level. Maybe it'll take this level out too. And then it'll continue up. So, yeah, I don't know, man. ETH looks like crap. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't look like Bitcoin. It doesn't look as strong. But here, I'll give you the one bullish scenario, right? On the 4-hour or the daily. I'll go to the daily for this one. So, like, I mean, it broke out of this little symmetrical triangle here, right? Kind of like how BTC's doing. So you see how it broke out? And it's back testing. So if it starts to gain acceptance back into here, which is under that like 1944 area we talked about, it's probably going to come back down and take out the $1,800 lows. There's a good chance. So you really want to hold this level here. Maybe it can go down a little bit and sweep, but you don't really want to go too much further. How long have I been trading at them? About 6 years. I mean, like, I've been in the markets for longer than that, but like actually like dedicated to learning how to trade about 5-6 years. I sold today sitting on cash. I bet that feels good. 17. Thoughts on NSFT? MSFT. Are you sure we'll never go to the left? Yeah, I hope. If it starts going to the left, dude, I'm not trading that day. I'm probably going to throw my computer out the window, too. It's not alcohol, I swear. It's just Diet Coke in a glass. All right, look, so we talked about MSFT here. Trend, weekly trend, we're holding it. So we're like, if it's going to bounce, that's where it's going to bounce. I said, if it can get this level broken, that's your first like major thing we're looking for. Like this is your 4-hour market structure shift. So we got it. Now we're looking for the back test to hold. Can we hold the back test? The idea here is we don't want to lose this low back down here on 387. Anything that we close above that can continue the like whatever the uptrend is. So and then the next level will be around 423, I would say. And then you got a little bit around 440. Those are your like local levels on the 4-hour to the upside, and that's your local level to the downside. Now on the daily, we left behind a nice big breadcrumb here, right? So right there, you got the nice CME gap. So that's probably the target, I would imagine. If it's going to come back up, it's probably going to have to come back up and test this 440 area, which we talked about, and up to maybe 480 to fill that. So that would be a nice target to the upside if it can sustain these lows and keep that structure. So that's what I would watch. And if you start to lose that weekly trend, man, on MSFT, get the F out. Run. Because it's probably coming down. It'll probably have a pit stop around 350, but do you really want to hold it down that much? I wouldn't. How much did I start with? I started with nothing when I started trading, dude. When I first started trading, I was literally I was trading with like a demo account and just studying and learning how the market moves. I wasn't, because I had lost money before that, you know. I was like in the market, I got burnt. I knew that the market could take it from you. So I just want to learn how to like see it. You got consistently delayed on your eval account. How much have I made? I don't know, to be honest with you. Over the years, I've lost a lot in the beginning. I never really kept count of how much I lost. I mean, like 2023, I did decent. I made enough to live off of it. You know, I didn't have a job in 2023, 24. I mean, right now I have like a side gig business that I'm building on the side, but it's like passive income. I do a little bit of oversight on it, but I haven't had like a 9 to 5 in like 3 years. So I have enough to live on and, you know, get a little savings, build the account up. I don't really like to talk about money though. It's a little bit of a personal question, but you know, enough to live on, man. And I'm not the only trader that's living off their trading. It's Ben's a full-time trader. Ben has 7 kids. Let's gonna put it that way, and he lives a very good lifestyle. And so does Nick. Nick's got, I think he just had twins. They both started tactical edge trading. They're the founders. And yeah, I mean, they've been trading for a decade each, so they've made a lot of money in the markets. I'm on my way to making a lot more money. I made a decent amount of money, but trading's a process, man. You gotta build an account over time. It's if you try to do it too fast, you're gonna blow an account. That's what it is. You gotta slow growth, let it compound. And if you're like me, and you take a plunge and go full time, you're gonna be living off of it. So you're not gonna be able to just toss it all back in the account. So if you're trading and building your account, you have a job, keep that job, hold on to it, and then just let that be your safety net. You can swing trade if you have to, and then build up that account until you're ready one day, and then you can take the plunge. But I would highly recommend talk to some people who've done it before you. If you want, you can check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com, and you can go to our Discord for free. There's a portal right in there. Or you can check out the courses too. It's free educational courses on how we trade. And yeah, you could talk to some real traders and kind of get some insight. It's a little bit more in depth than what I'm saying right now. Can you seriously make thousands a week? Yeah, dude, I've made thousands this week already. I closed out a trade over last weekend on gold for like 500. Sunday night I made like $400 scalping. Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I closed out a trade. I took a BTC trade. I made like $800 on it. So yeah, and then I think I made another $500 trade on Tuesday, and then I actually gave some back yesterday. I think I gave back like $200-300. So I don't know. I'm sitting like just around like 2,000 on the week. And I didn't really do too much this week. I was kind of like swing trading. I wasn't in front of the charts. I was just taking trades here and there. So yeah, I mean, I know a guy. I'm not gonna say who it is. He's a trader in our group, though. I mean, I watched him make $180,000 in one trade in like fucking 6 hours. He entered a trade, and it was a BTC trade, and it absolutely nuked. Like, absolutely nuked. And I think he made like 180 on it. We're joking around about it, and I was like, dude, you made a doctor's salary in one day at work. It's wild, dude. You can make a lot of money. But yeah, that's MSFT, guys. I know I went off on a little bit I sadly needed at 487. Damn. Man, it's got a chance, brother. But, look, I said, if tech starts falling, Microsoft's probably going to go down too. AI's been killing Microsoft, haven't they? Microsoft's been shit in the bed, though. I play Xbox. Like, I've been at Xbox, I guess so I've been subscribed to Xbox for a long time. And they're part of Microsoft, right? Microsoft makes them. And Microsoft, just in general, has just been failing. Like, they had this big security breach a while back. My account got hacked. A bunch of people's accounts got hacked. And I was like, dude, you're supposed to be like one of the biggest software companies, and this is what you do? So you said you're 16, Adam, start learning on Tuesday. I'm learning about order blocks. That's what's up, dude. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Order box liquidity. It'll change the game for you, man. I think you're doing that's smart. Where are you learning from? Are you learning on your own, or did you join our website or somebody else's? We'll go take a look at some stuff real quick. Let's go see what everything did this week. Let's go look at NVIDIA. Somebody asked for NVIDIA a while back. They're probably not even here anymore. I feel bad. Yeah, NVIDIA's just trading in a range, guys. Don't overcomplicate it at this point. It's just a range. It's had deviations on both ends, all right? So that's what NVIDIA's doing. Until it picks a direction. 195, 170, that's pretty much your your range. You have extremities up at 211, which is the high. And then you could maybe drop down to 163. There's some liquidity down there. But if it loses these lows, essentially you're probably coming down to like 150, I think, is the first stop on NVIDIA down here at this previous high. And if you break this high, like I said, you're probably going back up to retest the highs. So that was NVIDIA for anybody who asked about that one. Started with the week negative 113, ended 150. That's good, man. That's pretty good, man. You made a big comeback there. Now let me ask you a question. How big's your account? Because if you tell me your account's $154 right now, I'm just kidding. I don't know how you can have a negative 113. But I want to put me a second, guys. I'm going to put a Zin in. I didn't start nicotine until I started trading. It's fucking sad. I am not a morning person, and it's hard for me to focus in the morning sometimes. And like nicotine kind of gets me like in the zone for trading, gets me locked in. So, they say how they say bodybuilders use steroids because it's their profession. This is the drug for traders. It's like caffeine and nicotine. Snus is better. Dude, I use some cheap ass shit called Velo. I don't actually have Zyn. I don't like Zyn. I don't like the packets. They're weird. They have like a weird texture to them I'm not a fan of. The one I use is called Velo. I don't know if they're any good or not, but I like the taste. And I like the packets they use. But yeah. What else do you guys want to look at? It's a little dead in here tonight. It's a Friday. Why are you not selling? I don't know. What do I press? I'm looking at my computer right now. What do I press? I'm looking at my computer right now. Don't push shit, man. Push follow, push subscribe, push like. Those are the only things you should push. It's a Friday night, dude. Don't take it easy. Like, markets are closed. Futures may be open, but here's where you trade. If you see a big dump over the weekend, right? Like a big crash in something, that's usually something when you should get interested, because sometimes it's on a news-driven thing and they may run it back. You can usually catch the mean reversion, but that usually doesn't happen until about 5, 6 o'clock on a Sunday, 5, 6 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday. So, yeah. Yeah, BTC is looking a little weak right now, though. I might be bailing out of my long pretty soon. I got in down here, so I'm up a little bit. But I definitely don't want to give it back. It's my biggest thing. I hate round tripping. If you've traded, you understand what I'm talking about. It's like it's when you run a trade, you're in profits, right? You're up good money. It doesn't even matter if you're up a lot. You can just be up a couple dollars. Well, not a couple dollars, but like let's say you're up like 5% on a trade, and then you run it all the way back to zero. It's the worst feeling in the world, because like it's your greed taking place. You could have taken profits. How long should you be on a demo account until you figure out that your system is profitable? You need to. Here's my rule of thumb: if you're gonna trade, you need to trade more than like one week, 2 weeks. You need to trade at least 3 months. Doesn't have to be 3 months on a demo account, but you need to have at least 3 months of a strategy to see how it fares in all market conditions. Because usually in 3 months of a year, you're going to see a bear, bull, and you're going to see a sideways range. And then you can figure out how your strategy fares against that. Yeah, and you might get a black swan event, some news events in there. You'll see how your strategy is, and you'll figure out if it's a good strategy or not. And after it, you can do look if you're comfortable on a demo account, like you're comfortable pushing buttons, hitting trade, longing, shorting, setting up your trades perfectly, and you can execute on a demo account, and your strategy is locked in. You're winning more than you're losing, meaning like you could win 50% of your trades as long as your risk management's locked in and you're winning more, like you're profitable at the end of the over time. Yeah, switch to a low amount. Don't put a lot of money, but enough to like make it sting if you take a loss. Like don't look. If you like working a normal 9 to 5 and you got like if you're like middle class, don't go throw a fucking couple $1,000s in on your first time with an account. Throw like $100, $200. Like Ben actually trains people. He mentors traders. Most of them have no experience at all trading. They trade demo until they can prove they can put money in. He doesn't let them put more than $100 on the first thing. I think Bobby, he's like, you're only putting $100 in, or it was $200. I think he said 200. And like, you're going to only have that amount in there until you can prove that you can make more money with that. Then you could slowly over time add money into it and build the account. But naturally, you want to start with a low amount because you don't want to lose a lot. You're going to lose money. You're going to make mistakes. I promise. Once money's in the mix, there's emotions. And once emotions become in, all the trading strategy on that demo account kind of go out the door. So you have to combat those emotions. So if you go too deep, too fast, emotions are going to take over and they're going to be really like extreme. You know what I mean? And then you're probably going to make bad decisions. Not probably, you will. You just have to learn how to fight those things, fight those impulses that your monkey brain tells you in the beginning. Because most of the times when you see things happen in the market and you have money on the line, like you see a big red candle and you just went green, your instincts are probably going to tell you to fucking get out of that trade really quickly. Sometimes it's the right move, right? But sometimes you gotta trust your system and let your stop loss get hit. Because you have to be able to trust your system. You just start panicking out of trades because it goes the wrong direction. You're gonna be a paper hand trader, and you're gonna end up fucking. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. You can blow an account by like, taking one really bad trade, or you can blow an account with 1,000 small bad trades. And I know people that have done it. I know a few traders myself, like personally, who do that. They trade. They lose 2-3 times a day. Over a week, they end up like accumulating 15, 20 losses, and they blow their account over like a couple weeks. And then they're sitting on the sidelines until they have more money to load back up, and it's just not what you want. It's not where you want to be. Trading should be a gradual progression, just like anything. Like they don't just like you don't start your first day of med school and go fucking operate on somebody. You know what I mean? You work your way up to it. You go through residency. You practice a lot. And even when you do get out there, you have somebody supervising you, watching you. You need to be the same way with your account. You got to have it like supervised. Like you got to make sure you're on top of it. And then when you're ready, then you go full port. Seems to me they don't have a good strategy. It's not even it doesn't have a good strategy. I'm not going to say names because there's a few traders. I'm talking in general about a few people. It's not that they don't have good strategies. They have parts of themselves they can't control. Like I said, it's the emotional side. Some people it's greed. Some people it's fear. And some people it's the addiction part. Not being able to control, like having to do something. Always trying to be in a trade. It's not the way to trade, man. If you're trading constantly, you're constantly in and out of trades all day, every day, you're doing it wrong. The less, the better when trading. The most successful traders I know take 1 to 2 trades max a day. Ben, he's probably our highest volume trader, like trades the most amount of money, and has been probably like accumulate the most over out of most of us in the Discord, at least for that I know of. He takes maybe one trade a day max. Some weeks he only takes 1-2 trades in a week. So like he's disciplined to the point where he doesn't fuck around. That's a different level. Like you can get to that level. It's like a higher level of trading. You start to realize that you just want to wait for that perfect move. You're not trying to catch C grade, B grade scenarios. You're looking for those A+ setups. And he's one of those traders who only takes A+. Me, I'm not there yet. Like I take A+, I'd say 80% of the time. And like there's a couple times I'll take a B+ or a B. And eventually I'm going to get my my discipline in check where I'm only taking A+. But I'm a little bit more of a risk taker at this point. But down the line, when you got there, you get your system locked in, you're only going to take one setup. The best traders only take one setup, by the way. Maybe 2. And they just perfect those setups over time. Do I trade gold? Yes. I gave a banger trade on gold, man, last weekend. I called this move right here. I'll show you what it was. There's 2 moves I called on gold. So this one right here I got in last weekend, right before the Iranian thing, the assassination. It was going into the weekend. I got in on this flag right here. I was telling everybody, I was like, hey, we break out of this, expect this thing to go up. All right? And we did. So when we broke out, we started to consolidate going into the weekend. I got in down here. We pumped up, and I closed out up here. So I made it was like a $200 move on gold. I got in at 5,200, and I think it got out at 53.75 or 79, somewhere up there. And then I actually got in this short over here too. Called this short right here. It was a simple short right there. It was very simple. We were coming up. We failed to get back up above this high right here. So for me, that was a bearish back test, right? And we rolled over and cracked this trend. I went in. Got in on a back test, I think. Maybe on a lower time frame I got in on the back test. But I was in a little bit on this trade. I didn't take the whole thing, though. But I did get a nice move back down to the bottom of the wick. So it was about a $100 like move down. And then I kind of been out of gold. I've been just watching it all week. A couple moves here, but I'm not really too interested in this chop. This is a range. If you were going to trade gold right now, this is what you're trading. You're trading this range until it breaks. If it breaks back above 5,200, then maybe come back up to 54. If it breaks back below, ideally, if it stays above 5,100, it's good. If it starts to break back below, then yeah, we're coming to attack these lows here. And if we lose these lows, then we're coming down. So just a little back test on gold. How long would it take to read trends like this? No, it wouldn't take long at all, man. I could look at Sony, Mark. It doesn't take long to look at. Look, it's going to take some time staring at the charts to start to see the patterns and identify them yourself. But you can learn to trade and see like the trend and like understand support and resistances. I can teach you that in a week. You can go watch the courses right now and blast through Ben's courses in a week on tacticaledgetraders.com. And you'll probably have a decent understanding of how the market moves. The hard part is putting that into practice. But yeah, Sony's coming down right now. We know that. We're coming down to some weekly support. I'm pretty sure this is weekly support here. Yeah, weekly support we're approaching around 2044. We are front running it a little bit, but I think we're going to come tap this liquidity. So you're looking at 2044 down to about $20, right? Just this general area, like down to here maybe. That's where I'll be watching for a bounce. Also, what I would be watching on Sony is this. As long as the trend is down, it's down. Respect the trend. Play the trend. So let it do its thing. If it starts to break above, if it finds support here and starts to break above this trend, maybe you get a little bit of a bounce. If it did bounce, two levels I'd be looking at. I'd be looking up here around $28, and I'd be looking at around 26. That'd be like the main area I'd be looking for a back test if it did break this, because if that's the previous range high, previous range before it broke down, right? That was the low of the range, and it also was the last breakdown we had on the daily above the high we have now around 23. So it was up here, and if I take my fib, I'll bet you that lines up with a golden pocket. It's pretty close. Let's say we do come down a little bit more. It actually lines up almost perfectly with a golden pocket, like around the 618, around $27. So could be a potential if we do break the trend. Otherwise, we're coming down to 20, and if we lose 20, then I think we're going to head a little lower. But yeah. Are you live often? We're live 6 days a week, TT. Live 6 days a week. The only day I don't really go live is Saturday. Sometimes I do if it's good. But Saturday is usually dead. Sundays are good because we can talk about weekly open. We got CME open. We have, Asia market opens for the week. London will open for later into Sunday. So there's volatility on Sundays. Fridays are good wind down day. And then like Monday through Thursday, we're talking about the markets, like plays for the week and stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff we talk about here. What platform are you using? I'm using Robinhood. You could, we actually just started using NinjaTrader not that long ago. Everybody I've talked to loves it. I just signed up for it. I haven't loaded up any money to trade on it yet, but I'm going to be doing that this weekend. We started like last week with the affiliate link in the group. So like we basically have been in the background talking to them, trying to like work out like, just if it's good for our group or not, because we're not going to push a product out. And it's free to join, by the way, NinjaTrader. You don't have to have money to join it. They're free and they have like more premium subscriptions, but we're not going to push a product to any of our members unless we've vetted it. And we vetted it and it's great. I mean, Nick says he loves it. You can trade commodities, gold, futures, stock futures, indices. You can trade Bitcoin. I think you can trade Ethereum. You can't trade all the cryptos, but you can trade Bitcoin. So they have a bunch of different things on there. And you can link all your your other brokerages to it, and you can use it as a singular operating platform. It also operates with TradingView, and it has some add-ons too. They have volume, order flow, Delta. They have all that stuff. Do you guys work on trading options? There's a few people working on doing options in the group. I'm not an options trader, but I'm kind of getting my I'm learning about it slowly. I figured once I've got the TA down and how to trade the markets. Options is just a different way to trade. So there's more different rules when trading it. You got gamma, which is like your decay of your contract. And you have to understand there's a lot of nuances to options trading that I haven't figured out yet, so I haven't gotten into it. But there's some guys that are pretty well versed in it in the group. So if you want to check us out, tacticaltraders.com. Check the Discord. Guys, it's Friday. I think I'm going to probably call it after I look at CL1 exclamation mark for Parker. I just saw that. I was waiting for somebody to put something. I was like, all right, that'll be my last one. So you want CL1. So just crude oil, yeah. So Parker, pretty simple here, all right? This will be my last one, guys. I'm going to jump. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend for a little bit, but then I'll probably see you guys on Sunday. So look, trend's up. Broke trend, right? It's approaching a serious level around 96. I think 96 is going to be the big level to watch right up here. Gets up there. That's resistance. That's weekly resistance. Let's see if it breaks it. If it breaks it, man, this thing's going up to 120. If it rejects here, then I expect it to come back down and maybe retest this $80, maybe $70 level. So I'll be watching it going into this, going into the weekend, into Monday open. When the markets open back up, I'd watch oil and see what happens. After markets, it's kind of coming down a little bit, right? Oh, no, it's going up. It's pumping up. I take that back. So let's see what happens, man. If I see us at 95 going into Monday open when Asia opens, I might be looking for a short up here. Not a bad area to start looking for one, right? But right now, man, it's hard to go like full bear on oil just yet because, I mean, look, it's going up. Gas prices are rising. At some point, it's going to pull back, though. I think when we get news about like any piece, anything, this thing's going to dump out real quick. So maybe that happens at $95, $96. We'll see. But to the downside, man, the big levels to watch, $80 right here. This is the levels for support. Look at the $80 level, which could line up with the trend depending on how long it takes to come down. And the next level down is here. I'm sorry. Next level down is right here around 78. Those are your two big levels to the downside on oil, and that's your level to the upside. So those are your support and resistances. Do you think it's good to start with $500? If you've never traded before, probably don't start with $500. Probably start with a demo account. And then if you want to, once you feel confident in your strategy and operating on the demo account and executing trades, then maybe throw some money in there. But if $500 is a lot of money to you, I wouldn't do that for the first time trading. Put enough money in there that's like, it's money in the market, but it's not going to like, it's like, think about it like going into a casino. You take what you expect to lose. So if you're new to trading, expect to lose whatever you put into the account. So if you put $100 in there, expect that like you may blow that $100 making some mistakes. So put what you're willing to lose if you're new to trading. Or start with a demo. That's what's up, Parker. 3K demo trading? Hell yeah, dude. Do you guys work on trading? Somebody asked that already. Anyways, guys, I'm going for a little over an hour. I'm going to call it tonight. My name is Eddie. I am a trader, Tactical Edge Trading. Check us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. Free Discord, free courses. We teach you how to trade for free. We don't sell our courses. We want you to learn free because, honestly, the information's out there. We've compiled it. We figured out some systems that work for us, things that aren't bullshit, that actually pay in the long run if you create a system and execute it properly. And you can get all that on our website. Also, subscribe, like, follow. You'll get notifications when I go live, when Ben goes live. And we go live 6 days a week. But anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all for coming out, hanging out on a Friday. That is like legit dedication. So, and if we talked about trading and it's something that piques your interest, you're new to it, I highly recommend get over to the website, get into the Discord, free to join. Be a fly on the wall, listen to everything. And if you got questions, feel free to ask on the Discord. We'll answer them. You're going to be around other traders at all different levels. And, it's the best place to learn. So, anyways, till next time, y'all. I will check y'all out. Have a good one, guys.